Hello everyone, this is Agony333. And this is the second movie review I'm doing for today, and it is over Hacksaw Ridge. And as you can fucking tell, if you've watched any Red Dead Adventures episodes or any of that stuff or heard me talk about it, I'm wearing the fucking douche hat. Cause yeah, I'm about to probably be a fucking douchebag. So that's why I pretty much decided to get this hat, as well as maybe possibly make it slightly more humorous for me to wear this fucking ridiculous thing. Because yeah, at least on this channel, that's what this hat means. You're a fucking douche, I'm a fucking douche. But let's get into the fucking film instead of my absurd appearance. It's from 2016, it's rated R, it's a war drama film. It is 2 hours and 19 minutes, sorry. And it is pretty much about a person named Desmond Doss who goes to the army and goes to this dangerous region called Hacksaw Ridge and pretty much saves quite a lot of lives and everything else. But the reason I'm calling myself a douche is for some of the viewpoints that I'm going to have in this film. They may be offensive, they may be not liked or agreed upon. I don't really know, but I'm not here to candy coat things, sugarcoat things, be all nice all the time. I'm here to tell the truth on what I fucking think about a fucking review and be an obnoxious fool sometimes. And so that's pretty much exactly what I'm going to fucking do. But maybe it'll make sense to some of you. And so the first thing that I'll say here is that there was a quote that was made by, the New York Observer. And that is that this is the best war film since Saving Private Ryan. And I put here, is it the best war film since Saving Private Ryan? I think fucking not, to be honest with you. And the other thing I should have gotten out of the way after that whole offensive bullshit talk that I said was that keep in mind that my viewpoints in this review are not at all towards the actual event that this film is based upon. No, all of these stupid viewpoints that I'm about to share with you are about this film's portrayal of said events, not the actual real events, just this film's portrayal of those events. But yeah, is it really the best since Saving Private Ryan? And what I did is I went to the year it was released and everything, from 1998 to 2016, when this film came out. And the reason I said is it is because this fucking guy who said this is pretty much claiming that this film is better than The Hurt Locker, The Patriot, The Boy in the Striped Pajamas, Inglourious Bastards, Rambo from 2008, and even Jarhead. And so that's why I said, is it? Fuck no, it's not, at least not in my opinion. I mean, maybe this guy hasn't really brushed up on his war movie, movie reviews or watched any of these, but I mean, to me anyways, if you've watched any of these fucking movies, or if you're acquainted with any sort of fucking war films, I highly doubt you could say this is better than any of those fucking films. Because, at least for me, the ones I listed off, I mean, like Rambo 2008, for me, that's one of my favorite movies of the Rambo fucking series. So I don't know what the hell this dude was on, but the other thing is that it seems as though the New York Observer has ceased publication, which I understand why when they're given absurd reviews like this. People probably did not agree with them, and they ended up having to shut down shop. But, okay, I'm a fucking fool. There's some spoiler parts that I did not highlight, so I need to highlight them to not accidentally spoil them. But here's going to be my negatives on this film. What's so bad about it, Agony, you stupid fuck? Well, this is what I'm going to have to say. And that is, for me, my gripes, one of them being is I feel like this film is just a little bit too much preachy. And so, I mean, it centers a lot on religion. And here's the other thing. Talking about religious subjects, or covering religious subjects, is not the problem. Because, I mean, I've read, for instance, a few of the Left Behind books, the first one, as well as Tribulation Force, and even some Nikolai, which is the third one. So, I mean, I can read religious subject matter, I can watch movies with that. It's about how it's handled. And in this film, I feel like it's too forced, and the way it's presented is too much. Yeah, it's too much. It's shoved in your fucking face too much. That's the problem, I feel like. Another thing here is I feel like this film kind of portrayed it in a way. The beginning kind of reminded me of Forrest Gump, but a lame Forrest Gump. And I've made jokes about Forrest Gump on this channel, but I love that movie. I think it's a fucking great movie. For me, Forrest Gump's like a fucking 10 out of 10 film. And so, for some reason, at least a little bit of the film's portrayal towards the beginning kind of reminded me of that, but a dumbed down version that's not as good. Another thing that I was going to say is, about 30 minutes in, I hoped for better. After an hour, I feel like it did indeed get better, though. That's the other thing. And during that beginning portion, though, of the film, there were several times I kind of wondered to myself, is this a fucking comedy? Because, Vince Vaughn's in this movie. I mean, sometimes he's funny and stuff, but I feel like this film wasn't his best, to be honest with you. And I don't think it's entirely his fault. I think a big part of that is that, to me, he kind of had to live up to Ronald Lee Ermey, which, if you know that actor, rest in peace, he's passed on. He was a drill sergeant in Full Metal Jacket, and he was in a lot of great movies, and he was an absolutely fucking great actor, and he was actually in the Army. So, I mean, he had to try to live up to that kind of acting, at least in my opinion, because, like I've said, I've seen all those other movies. I've seen Ronald Lee Ermey's great fucking performance as a drill sergeant. So Vince Vaughn couldn't live up to it, in my opinion. So, I mean, when it came to the drill instruction parts of the film, it felt watered down and not really comparable to other ones that we've seen in film, if you've watched those fucking portrayals like I'm talking about. So really, for me, between some of the, lame kind of borrowing from other films, as well as, sort of poor acting on Vince Vaughn because he couldn't live up to better acting portrayals of drill instructor, as well as it being overly fucking preachy and dragging things out because, yeah, I'll have to get into spoilers to really, I think, go into that. But yeah, it doesn't really get going until an hour into the film. And so because of all of those negatives within the first hour, that's what, at least for me, kind of brought the score down. I feel like if they could have, instead of making that an entire hour, if they could have tried to maybe trim out some of that first hour, maybe make that, condense it into like a half hour or 40 minutes or something, give a little bit more time to, the soldiers actually in their story and everything else, rather than all the kind of preaching and things going on, I think that would have benefited from it. And if they would have been just a little bit more subtle with the religious bits instead of being more in your face about it, I feel like that would have been more beneficial as well. Because there's a lot of other Army movies that don't really force that in there too damn much like this one does. And let me see what other things I can get to. But yeah, okay, that's what I put here. Is I've talked at length through many other reviews about a slow burn kind of movie and them being a good thing sometimes. A lot of times, at least in my opinion. It's a good thing because usually the later half is a payoff. In this film, I felt like it was a bad slow burn. It really dragged things out too much, and it wasn't handled the right way. That's the reason. A slow burn can be good if it's handled the right way, and if the later portion pulls off being able to, make the first part of it count. In this one, I feel like the whole slow burn portion of the first half wasn't handled very well. And while the later hour was all right, it wasn't worth the wait, in my opinion. And here's another thing that I thought I would put here, is that the real-life Desmond Doss, there was actually like a documentary or a thing made for that, which is called The Conscientious Objector. And I put here that that was probably better than this. And because that's another thing, towards the end of this film, you actually do get to see the real Desmond Doss and hear him talk a little bit. And that was cool. I feel like that was a strength of this film. And so, for me overall, I felt like really, rather than this film's portrayal, I think it would have been a much better overall thing to just hear the actual men who went through this maybe give their side of the story and really talk about it. That would have probably been overall better, hearing them, seeing some footage there or something. So that documentary is probably overall better than this, is what I would say. And so my score here that I thought I would give it is a 6.5 out of 7. And another thing I should also say is before I even watched this movie, when I heard what it was about and everything, I was actually really optimistic about it. It was a movie I was excited to see. So I don't think I went into this film negative or anything. I actually was excited to see this. It sounded like a good story and stuff like that. And like I've also mentioned, I've watched quite a bit of other war films and stuff. But also keep in mind, I passed up purchasing Apocalypse Now for this. So that is why there's a kind of negative rating there. Is, I passed up purchasing Apocalypse Now, which is a fucking classic and an amazing film, and was pretty much let down by a good portion of the beginning half of this film. And when you're going to make big, boastful remarks that are on the DVD cover, like it's the best film from Saving Private Ryan, but then you have all these other really amazing fucking films listed here, it's a letdown compared to what it could have been. So yeah, 6.5, heading to 7. Not the greatest, but it's still decent. But like I have also mentioned, maybe check out the actual documentary made. I would bet it's a lot better than this one is. And for anybody who wants to maybe hear a little bit on spoilers and maybe some more reasons on why I had some gripes here and stuff, stick around. For anybody fucking else, peace, and let's do this shit. Okay. So this is what I put here. Like I said, the first full hour is mainly preaching and, drill instructing stuff. And to me, Vince Vaughn really did a poor fucking job with the drill instructing crap. I feel like he fucking put it to shame. He didn't fucking live up to the goddamn, role, in my opinion. And so, because of that, as well as other things dragging it out, like, okay, this is what I put here. Why didn't they just let him be a part of the team? Are they even a fucking team? Because most of the film, they're trying to pretty much force Desmond out rather than accept him in there, into the group. And this is what I put here. How is it really different whether he's there or he leaves? If he leaves, there's one less person to help. If he stays, there's an extra person to help the effort. So really, it was more in their benefit to, rather than battle him and have this long, drawn-out fucking affair, to maybe realize the help that he could have provided and ended up providing later on. So there's that. So that's why, like I've been saying, I feel like this film's a negative one more than a positive one, is because I feel like the film focuses way too much in that whole entire first fucking hour on all this preachy stuff, and it's just not handled right, as well as just all this, when to me they could have probably condensed that part and maybe gave the extra time to the actual soldiers telling their story or the reasons why they're there. More of the actual battle itself and stuff like that, I feel like would have been better if they did that. But let me see, is there any actually other things here? Oh, I thought it was also kind of amusing earlier on in the film when before he even enlists in the army or anything. I thought it was kind of amusing. I apologize, but to me it was just kind of fucked up. I mean, the whole way he meets his wife is, I put here, boy loses leg, Christian boy once laid. Because that's pretty much what happens. I mean, this other guy pretty much loses an entire leg in this automobile accident, and he brings him into the fucking hospital, and then he's just immediately smitten with this nurse, and it's just, to me it was kind of just cringy. I mean, here this person has his leg fucking severed over here, and this guy is only thinking about getting some. I mean, what the fucking hell is this shit? I don't fucking know. But that's what I thought was amusing. And that's what I'm saying, due to just cringy things like that, how it was handled. The preachy stuff, dragging it out for an entire hour. And, yeah, not having a proper actor for the drill instructor. And the fact that there is an actual documentary of this out, you're probably better off with that. And all of those other really amazing films are apparently not as good as this one. I call complete fucking bullshit. So that is why I gave it kind of a lower rating than I think maybe others would, because there's just plenty of other great movies out there to watch when it comes to the war drama category, I would say. But I hope that you all are having a great, wonderfully amazing, awesome fucking day. Maybe you'll check this movie out anyways, or maybe you'll check out the actual documentary, or maybe watch a different kind of war film that is, done much better. I don't know, but I hope that you all have a great, amazing, wonderfully fucking fantastic day. And this is Agony333, and I'm signing out. Have an amazing one, guys. Peace.